It's Smoke Sammy. I have the day off today because it's President's Day, and I've just been couch rotting. And I really want to keep doing that, but I know that I will be disappointed in myself because I set a goal of uploading every day, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, today I'm looking at more Am I the Villain posts. Am I the villain for insulting brother-in-law and his friend after I was set up on a blind date? I haven't been in a romantic relationship for years since my last one ended. Finding a partner isn't much of a concern for me, and I honestly enjoy being on my own, but the rest of my family thinks otherwise, especially brother-in-law, who has taken it upon himself to set me up. He is the kind of person who believes that marriage should be above all else in life, and I'm wasting mine away. He sounds great. He has tried to introduce me to multiple people. Some I've entertained, while others I've politely refused to meet. Those whom I've met were decent people, and they have taken the rejection well. The only issue here is that I don't want to be with someone. But brother-in-law doesn't find my reason genuine enough, and he is still on the "you haven't met the right one" shtick. The routinely blind date happened again, only this time I wasn't told that it was one. As frustrating as my brother-in-law's matchmaking hobby can be, he does usually ask for my consent, or at least tell me, "Surprise, you're going on a date," but this was different. God, that would annoy me on its own too. Like, chill. Why do you care so much about somebody else's life choices? Just don't. They invited us, both sides of the family, to dinner, and it wasn't a formal family-only occasion, so when he introduced his friend, I didn't think much of it. He seemed like a cool guy, and it was fun meeting him. Then I noticed that his conversations with me were getting a bit too personal, and I had a mild suspicion that I might be on a date, but I wasn't certain of it. Until well into the night, the guy mentions how he also prefers to develop friendships with someone before making a romantic commitment. Also, further into the conversation, I learned that I'm being tricked into forming a friendship that will eventually turn into a romantic one. It was my brother-in-law's plan to get me to test the water. Okay, I agree. I am a person who needs a friendship before it can turn into a relationship, but like, it can't be, we're gonna form this friendship specifically to turn this into a romantic relationship, because that to me is just the same thing as like trying to date right into a romantic relationship. Like, I told him that it was such a weird thing for him to do, and I called him bizarre for doing it. That basically ended our conversation and the night. I confronted my sister and brother-in-law, and while my sister had no idea what had happened, brother-in-law thinks that I should have just given him a chance. And we did get along, so I shouldn't make a big deal out of it. It doesn't end here. Friend is angry at brother-in-law because of that horrible date. And now my brother-in-law wants an apology for insulting his good intentions and also for name-calling his friend. Yeah, no, definitely not the villain. I would be so creeped out and uncomfortable if I was put in this position. And brother-in-law needs to chill. Just take a step back. Just stop. Just cut it out. And I think friend should have the right to be angry at brother-in-law. Because to friend, it was a date. But obviously OP didn't know that. So like, they already came into this with two different, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word I'm looking for. They both had different, whatever. I am not the villain. I give up. Am I the villain for demanding my house guest pay me for what she drank? I was asked by a friend that I went to university with if she could stay a few days at my place on her vacation. She came a couple of days ago and also brought her sister, which was fine with me. Her sister declined going out for dinner with us and wanted to stay in. That was fine, and we left and we went to eat. Well, turns out her sister is a recovering alcoholic and wasn't coping that well being in a different place. We come home a few hours later, and I found that she got drunk and raided my liquor cabinet for what she could find. She ended up drinking my very expensive gin that was given to me by my dad. It's not something I would have ever offered my guests. When she woke up the next morning, I told her that she needed to pay me for it. I didn't even open it. She started freaking out, saying it was a mistake and that she couldn't afford the rest of her trip if that's really what it cost. I told her that she technically stole it from me and that she needed to pay me for it. My friend from uni said that her sister is struggling in recovery, but they really can't afford to compensate me without it ruining her trip. I asked them to leave, and they were both very upset about it. While I do understand that was a moment of weakness, I still think she needs to pay me for it. If she broke it by accident, that would be a different story. Am I the villain for wanting her to give me the money for it? Edit, Thanks everyone for making me not seem like a monster. I requested the money and her sister sent me the e-transfer. We weren't super close, but more met up from time to time. It wasn't a friendship that I'm necessarily devastated over this happening. Yeah, okay, definitely not the villain. OP's right. She did steal from OP. That is the same as stealing. It's not OP ruining the trip because she needs the money back. It's the sister of her ruining the trip because these are just the natural consequences of her actions. Not the villain. Am I the villain for telling my sister she can't control the name her son introduces himself as? My sister named my nephew Skylar. She has always called him Skylar and told everybody she knew he would not be Sky. That Sky is a girl's name and not even a good girl's name. Is it? I thought it was one of those gender neutral names, like my name, Sam. Can I help you? You're in my video. Because I grew up with the Winx Club and there's definitely a Prince Sky who's definitely a dude, and I don't think it's just a girl's name. Well, once my nephew started school, he started calling himself Sky, and all his friends and even his teachers call him Sky. My sister was agitated but expected him to grow out of it. She vented a lot about him going by Sky and how she couldn't understand Sky being such a popular nickname for a boy. My brother pointed out his name is Skylar, and Sky is the most common nickname for it, with Kyler being possible but not really any better. Yeah, I feel like nicknames should definitely shorten the name, and Kyler is literally just as long as Skylar. Like, but yeah, if she hated Sky so much, she probably just shouldn't have named him Skylar. Like, my nephew is now 14 and he asked the family to call him Sky as well. We respect what he wants and call him Sky. He told me that he wanted to ask when he was 5 but knew his mom would have a fit, but he no longer cares that she hates Sky. I think it's great he's doing what makes him happy. My sister is now freaking out that everyone calls him Sky except for her, even her husband. Sky's dad calls him Sky. She has tried to fight against Sky using Sky. Right, the amount of times I'm reading the word Sky in this post. She told him his name is Skylar and he should call himself that because it will be confusing for people. She told him shortening your name isn't a must. But it's a want. So who cares if it's a must or not? He wants to do it, so he should be able to do it. Then she told him he forbids him from introducing himself by the nickname. He told her Sky is more his name than Skylar is by now, and she needs to deal with it. She ranted and raved about the disrespect and how he should have listened to her. I told my sister she can't control the name her son introduces himself as, especially a name that is a common short version of his full name. I told her she's only going to make him resent her if she continues. She told me to mind my own business, and of course she has the right. She's his mother. Am I the villain? No, I think this is a little crazy. You have to know that when you name your kid a certain name, the potential nicknames that are going to come from it. My mom and dad told me that they literally named me Samantha because they wanted me to have a short nickname that could be gender neutral. And I really like that, and I'm really glad that they did that. There are some things that as a parent, you just can't control. And if the kid feels more like this is my identity, this is my name, this is what I want to be called, then they have every right to go by that nickname or name. Am I the villain for throwing a tantrum because my child wasn't invited to a child-free wedding? My sister is getting remarried and she wants a very small wedding with only immediate family. Yesterday we got her wedding invitation, and to my surprise it said that the wedding is child-free and my child isn't invited. My child is 17 years old, going on 18 soon. By the way, my child is the only one under 18 in our family and in the groom's family, so she is the only one being excluded. I called my sister and asked her if she's effing serious. She said, "I'm sorry, but we have decided that we want a child-free wedding." I told her to just say you want a my child-free wedding and get over with it because this is exactly what you are doing. We got into an argument and she told me to stop throwing a tantrum and my child doesn't need to be included in everything. I told her that we won't be attending her wedding then, and she called me a villain for not supporting her. See, I understand child-free weddings and, you know, your wedding, your choice, but this is very clearly targeted, and how can you do something like that to your own family? Like, there's no way that the daughter is not going to catch on. Clearly, the bride just does not want this one child who is 17, who is pretty much a young woman, to not be at this wedding. And if I were OP, I would be throwing a tantrum too. Am I the villain for telling all of my friends and family why my vacation home is off limits now unless they rent it? I rent out my house through a service that includes insurance when it is in use. The insurance does not cover when I lend my house to friends and family since they are not paying. I have regular homeowner's insurance for that. My brother was using my house with his family just after New Year's. It's a slow time and I wasn't going to lose out on much income. My nephew stayed up late one night and didn't go out for breakfast with his family, so he decided to make himself some food instead. Dogs are barking outside. He started a kitchen fire, and he freaked out and called 911 instead of using the fire extinguisher in the kitchen. He is 14, so I can't blame him too much. The smoke damage will cost about $8,700 to fix. I told my brother he could take his time paying me back. He said he wasn't going to pay for an innocent mistake. That's not how that works, buddy. If it was a fire in your own house, you would still need to pay for it, even if it's an innocent mistake, so... I needed the house in order, so I just fixed everything. I didn't go through insurance since I do not want my rates to go up. I was obviously upset, so I posted about the fire and how pissed I was at my brother. Pretty much all my friends and family took the side of the innocent angel. They said it was unfair for me to expect that much money from him when he could have rented a hotel for a fourth of the price. So I agreed. I said that from now on my house was off limits unless they rented it out or I was there and they came as my guests. Okay, yeah, what else are you supposed to do at that point? Since I use the house with my family, that means they can rent it all or use the only empty bedroom. It has a twin bed and a crib. Now the howling started that I'm being unfair to them for something that wasn't their fault. I offered to take up a collection from one of them to cover the repairs or the increased insurance premiums, and most of them showed up. Yeah, everybody just wants a free place to stay. Nobody actually cares about the damage caused or OP's financial situation, and that is not cool, in my opinion. I directed them all to my brother. He got quite angry at me for blaming him for the situation. I said I wasn't about to send a mob after my nephew. Exactly, like it's the kid's fault, I guess. Yeah, the kid was the one who caused the fire. The kid is 14, so it is unreasonable to hold the kid as accountable as you would an adult. Therefore, the adult parent is the one to take the blame and the one to face the consequences, in this case, paying the $8,700 to fix it. I bought the house after I got a settlement from a worksite accident. I used the income to supplement the difference in what I used to earn at my old job and what I do now. So I guess my question is, am I the villain for telling everyone who has a problem with me charging rent or stuffing a family into a room meant for 2 small children to talk to my brother about it? Not the villain. OP actually gave the brother the option to make payments over time because $8,700 is a lot of money. And that seemed fair to me because it was the brother's child who caused the incident. So I don't know why the brother is so like, no, I'm not gonna deal with that, and then is like, oh my gosh, consequences. Like, whatever. OP's not the villain. All right, well, that's all for today. If you like this content or you like me, go ahead, subscribe, like, comment other subreddits that you want me to go through. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.